we met Darren inside the process of building this addition, and we had met with several other contractors at that point, and each one would come into this, right in here in this living room, this kitchen area, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, we hear everything you want. Here your budget. Just take down all the notes." And we'd have what we thought was a great conversation, and then they'd come back 2 or 3 days later, and the budget was 3 times what we had asked for. The timeline was crazy. Just everything that we were so excited, and then just to be let down. And this happened several times. We had a friend of ours that we were trying to work through and find another contractor, and she said, "Hey, I met this guy named Darren. I think you guys should meet him." But we were pretty disheartened at that point, and kind of wondered if we even wanted to go through with this
Yeah,
build
just
at
so.
all. Yeah. Darren came in, and from the minute he sat down at the table, the questions he was asking was very different than the other guys. He was asking about pain points. He was asking about, well, what is it about this place that you love? What is it about this place that you don't love? What are you trying to solve with this addition? That kind of thing. And so we felt right at home with him, right, like from the moment he started talking with us, and he had a much higher level of care and interest really in the project and us and our kids, our family. And he came back a couple days later. He said, "All right, I heard what you wanted, and I heard what your budget was." And he really helped us to understand, hey, what you want, I can't give you all of that because the budget is too low. But what I can give you is this. And he started to paint a picture of what that could look like. And we said that solves everything we sat at
Yeah.
the table and asked for. That's exactly what we need. And at that point, we said, yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, I feel like everybody we had talked to was like, everything that your heart desires, we will do. And then that's when they'd come back and be like, oh, we can't do it. We're going to move on. And Darren was really good at saying, I hear what you need. And this is what I've planned out with what you need. And this is where the budget's at. And I think it's going to be really awesome. And if there's things that we want to add extra, we can see where we can fit that in. It felt like, okay, this is doable. And it touches all the things we need.
Yeah. We had several key pain points in this place. We moved in here about almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago. And we live right next door to my parents, which is great with our kids. That's why we wanted to live out here. This was an existing structure, and so we were planning an addition. But one of the biggest, I don't want to say the biggest, but probably one of the biggest was storage. We sat with Darren at the kitchen table and said, we live in a converted garage. All of this was just a 3-bay garage at one point, and a loft, just one giant room upstairs with no walls. When we talked to Darren, we said, we've got kids, we've got another one on the way, and we have nowhere to put all of our stuff because there's no bedrooms, there's no closets.
We never did do all of that because we thought we'll build a house and we'll reconvert this, and then just the world. And
Yeah,
this is a really
changed.
great structure, so we just wanted to work with what we had, and we didn't have bedrooms or closets.
Yeah, once we changed that plan from, wanting to keep this a garage or anything like that, that's when our family started to get bigger, and we said, well, we need closets, we need somewhere to put stuff because we had stuff coming out our ears. The other piece of that was that because that was one giant room upstairs, we had sectioned it off a couple times with some different call it renovations, but I told Darren it's more like iterations of this house because it's gone through some significant change. In the beginning, it was just that one big open room, and so my wife and I only had, we had one giant room, and the kids had their own bedrooms, and we had no door. We had no privacy. And that's fine when they're toddlers. But as they get bigger, you want your own space. You want your own.
It was an open room, so it
Yeah.
became everybody's toys are there, everybody's
Yeah.
clothes are there, because it's not in my bedroom. I'm just going to put it outside in the hallway, which was our bedroom.
Yeah. So we told Darren we really need our own space, and I told him, I said, since we're going to build something, I want to build something that's radically different, better, whatever than we can imagine. So we started to draft up a plan around a master suite, and that master suite had to include a gigantic closet,
Yes.
primarily for her stuff. I do get to keep a small footprint of it, but wanted to just have a lights out, amazing closet for her. We had a baby on the way, and so we thought, hey, it'd be great to have a little nursery up there for her, and that could double as a multi-purpose room once she's bigger,
yeah.
like an office or craft room or something like that. And then we just wanted a big room. We wanted a big, spacious master bedroom because the kids do like to come and hang out with us.
Yeah.
they really end up in there a lot now. We also talked to Darren about renovating some of the existing structures. This room actually here used to be a garage, and Darren was able to come in and open that up for us, turn it into even more living space to create a really big open concept floor plan downstairs here. Because we had no storage in terms of closets, we didn't have a pantry. So this kitchen area used to be just flooded with makeshift cabinets from IKEA or whatever we could find, put stuff in. And then we just had stuff again coming out of every open door, cabinet. Darren was able to come in and put in an amazing mud room and a huge pantry.
Yeah. And every kid has a bedroom and they all have closets. He worked on it with us on, we're using mini splits. Now we have central heat and air. We have a very nice master bathroom, so we don't have to share with the kids. They have a very nice bathroom now. So I think overall we have space for all of us to be. There's 6 of us, and we have space to be together and also space to be apart.
Because he knew our pain point was storage, he found literally every available space in this house to turn into storage. We went from having one kind of central closet, if you want to call it that. We had kind of built that on right when we moved in. I counted, we have 9 closets in this house now. So.
And they're not even full. Another pain point, we wanted a bonus room, but that was not in this iteration of the house. But our attic space, which I think he kind of built it out and made it so nice that you could finish that out into a room eventually. And he just tried every area to fix pain points.
Yeah, we're really utilizing every square foot of this place now. It's pretty awesome. I've already recommended Darren several times to friends that are looking for any kind of like home addition or even new construction. And I would tell anybody this, like Darren just listens different. In that initial meeting and the initial time within the planning time, he just takes extra care, extra time to prepare. And that was a game changer for us in the beginning, meant the world. But as the project went on, Darren really just is a really great human being, and we really become friends with him along the way. He took a lot of interest and care in our family. We've got 4 kids, and he knows their names and would ask about them. We'd get a text or a phone call, updating us on the house, and it'd also be like, oh, how was Henry's thing at school that you told me about? Like he's just he remembers those things, and that's a genuine human being. I can't think of a better trait that I would want to be present in someone that I was working on a project like this. This is not like just a shed built in the backyard or something. I mean, we're talking, for us, this was hundreds of thousands of dollars of trust inside of an individual, and you want to make sure that you're making the right choice. I feel like for us, he sold us on that at the beginning, but it just continued to reinforce that we made the right decision throughout the whole project. Combine that with the fact that he came in at budget. We didn't go over. He came in the time frame that we asked for. He wasn't asking for more time, and it felt like at the end of the project, it was finished and it was good. It wasn't, oh, well, that's left wide open, or that was a loose end, and he never really tied that up. Like we look through the house now, and we were able to move in right away, and just jump right back into our life like nothing ever happened, which is pretty incredible considering the size and scope of this project.
I agree. As a person, he's a great person. I feel like there's been a couple instances where we had things going on in our life, even related to the project, where he would stop and pray with us in our kitchen. Just a genuine person in that regard. But I feel like he also really wanted this to be everything we wanted it. If there was something extra he could do, he would do it. If he had an idea in the middle of the build, he'd be like, what do you think about if we add this? Maybe it would be like a little bit extra, or like this was a last minute thing. We were going to attempt to do it ourselves. It probably would not be done still. And he's like, yeah, let's just do it. Like, I've got these guys come out. We can get this done. I think he just took a genuine interest in it so that we would be happy and pleased. And he's continued. We're past the project now, and he's continued to check in. Is there everything going well? Is there anything else I can do? Is there any new projects? Because he knows there's things that we want to add. When are you ready to get started? I love working with you guys. So it was a really good experience. There was some stress, I think, that comes with making selections and choosing things, and finances, and this is going to cost this. But I feel like all through the way, he had such a positive attitude. He genuinely cared about our decisions, our choices, things like that. And I don't know, I love it, and I feel like he wanted us to love it.
He spent extra time making sure that I understood.
Yes.
Kind of at a teacher level, and I appreciated that, because again, you're spending this kind of money. Like, I want to make sure I know why you're doing what you're doing. So anytime I'd have a question, oh yeah, well let's hold on, let me put this down, and he'd come back and be like, well let me explain, or let's talk about this and this and that. Never hurried, never rushed, always ready to just unpack that, and that gave me even more confidence of. I'd come back and we'd have a conversation. And she's like, "Well, why are we doing that?" "Oh, well, let me tell you. Darren taught me something." So we had a
Yeah.
lot of those kind of conversations
And I
along the
feel
way.
like with his work schedule, getting home late, sometimes Darren would be like, well, I really want to talk this through in person with you. I want to show you what I'm thinking. What time is good for you? And he'd come at 6 o'clock at night, and Darren and Josh could talk a long time. So he'd be here a long time, and I'd come out, I'd be like, have you figured this out? And they're like, oh, we're talking about other stuff now. We're talking about life. So yeah, it was a good process.